Hey up everybody, welcome back to the I'll Do Cycling podcast. Today, a bit of something different, something that I'm really into. It's something called Velogames. It's a fantasy cycling website, it's free, and you don't get any prizes for it, but I just really like doing it anyway. And I have to say that I am, without a doubt, the expert when it comes to this website. I kid you not, I spend so much time on this website, it's probably unhealthy. I swap my team around so much. And yeah, I'm just going to tell you who you should be picking for your Paris-Nice 2021 Velogames team. So, I guess I'll just start off and say Roglic. I think he's too dangerous to not put on your team. But it's just because I know he hasn't raced this season, but that time trial and his team, I think if you're going against Roglic, that's really brave. It could pay off for you, by all means. He could crash. His team could get drawn out because of COVID. But, as a consequence, you'd probably be going to Shackman instead, who I have contemplated putting on my team, but I am not too sure just because he's don't get me wrong, Shackman will get a lot of points, but I don't think he'll be winning GC. I don't think he'll be finishing on the podium. I think this year is too hard for him, especially when you compare it to last year. But yeah, I think Roglic or Shackman, but I'm not. I don't think you can get both of them on your team, and have a strong team around them. I think that you need to pick one or the other, and quite frankly, I can go with Roglic over Shackman. Teo could be a surprise. Could maybe go with him. Yeah, I'm still favouring Roglic for these high priced riders. Krausweg, don't touch him. Blasov, maybe not. I would probably say no. Jonas Agird, no. Port, no. Bargiel, no. This is just really quick and simple. I think this is who you should be picking. And I'm going to try and hide my team so nobody goes out there and copies it. Because, I don't mean to brag, but I hit high on some of these scores, so I don't want to be giving too much away. So once I've got through these riders now, these high price riders, I'm just going to go through riders who I think will be good value, especially the lower point riders, because I realise that's where the difference is made. Those 6-pointer and 4-pointer riders who you need to fill out to get your team within budget, those are where the big differences are made. I would be picking Sam Bennett, fastest sprinter here without a doubt. He's got the lead out. Tige Benoit, I quite like him for a podium finish. Again, a bit unknown. I think it's a bit brave, but I don't think that many people will be picking him. Dennis, I think will be on domestique duty. Difficult to say how he'll do, but a good time trial nonetheless. Godou will climb well. Been looking in good form recently, so I'd be picking. I think I'll be picking Godou. I think that's a little drop I'll put in there. I'm going to be picking Godou. I know his time trial is bad, but I think the climbing is substantial enough that he could make it onto the podium. Guillaume Martin, I probably won't be touching. There's a lot of good 12-pointers here, and a lot of them are sprinters. Whoever you pick, you could make a good explanation for, but quite frankly, the 12-pointers I'm not too sure on. I think that all of them could do a good job in getting you points, but picking one is difficult. If I had to pick out a couple, I'd say Ackerman. George Bennett could surprise. Demar, Craig Anderson, Nizzolo, Pedersen, or Turns. I probably wouldn't bother with the rest of them, but that's just me. 10-pointers, Cockard, Christophe Laporte. That was Christophe as in Alexander Christophe, and then Laporte. McNulty, I think, is a late addition and could be one which not many people have, but could therefore get you more points in comparison to other people. Philipson, Trentin. That's about it, really. Mulberger, I don't think has the form, despite the fact that I really like his look in the Movistar kit. 8 pointers. I quite like Buhani. He's looked quite well in the Tour de la Provence and Etoile de Bessage earlier this year, and reasonably fast. I'd consider him to be maybe one of the top 5 sprinters here. De Ghent for a breakaway, of course. Campenarts for a TT. De Plus, probably working for Teo, so I won't go with him. Degenkolb, Gilbert, Haig didn't look great at the UAE Tour, but by all means go with him. Hofstede will more than likely be working for Barbier, who was up here. No, Barbier is 6 points, my bad. Anyway, who else have we got? Stuyven, maybe. And Danny Van Poppel. Turgis came second at Kern, so that was alright. 6 pointers, right. About halfway through the video, I'm trying to keep this nice and short. 6 pointers, this is where things start to get a bit hot. You have to make good 6 point and 4 point picks to be able to get to the higher echelons in Velogames. If you're hitting in the top 1000, then generally getting these riders is making quite a bit of difference. Ones who I am picking out: Barbier as a sprinter, 3 sprint stages, could snag you 200 points ish. Pat Bevan and Stefan Bissiger, kind of similar, both sprintery but with a good time trial. That time trial, I'd expect them to be finishing in the top 10, plus a couple of sprints, maybe about 100 points. So not as good as Barbier. Catania is a surprisingly low price. Probably the only climber onto Koenig. Will probably be given GC reign, decent time trial. I'd expect him to be getting maybe 250 points. Maggie hasn't looked great, but again, a sprinter who can maybe win that stage 6, stage 5 breakaway. Durbo for a time trial. There he is. Fraile, possibly. Caden Groves for a sprint, but they are also bringing Michael Matthews, so I won't bet on him. But just because they'll split the sprinting. Lucas Hamilton for a GC, yes, I like that. Jorgensen is an absolute must to put on your team. I'm telling you right now. Gino Maeda, possibly for a GC. Jordi Mayus if Ackerman starts to fail, but more than likely he'll be on bleed out, so don't be too tricked by that. Morkuva's looked really good in sprints with Bennett, could finish high up just because he's in good position in the sprint. Orlean Pare Pienta does look won the first one-day race of this season. Nielsen Palace is another one who's a must-have just because of his GC performance at the UAE Tour. Seneschal maybe, but the stages aren't going to be hard enough in terms of weather for him to make the difference. Setman Marcus look really good, but again he'll be looking for the sprints with Rudy Barbier. God, we're going really fast here. Ariav is the under-23 Colombian champion. A bit unknown. I'm not sure if I'll be putting him on my team. Just a bit too unknown for me. Hofstede could get you about 100 points worth of assist points if things go right for Jumbo-Visma and they win the team classification. And Roglic ends up doing really well in GC and stays in the yellow jersey for more than a couple of days. Pollitt is definitely underpriced at 4 points. He could do well in the time trial, but I will see him getting above 100 points. Probably not, just because of the lack of crosswind stages. He did really well here last year, but yeah, I don't think he'll get as many points this year. Scottson for a TT, Sabrera for a TT, and I'd say that's about it. People who I'm saying you absolutely have to have on your team: Roglic, absolutely must have. Sam Bennett, yes, also a must have. Then there's a lot of riders between the 8 point category and 12 point category who you can really pick and choose who you want. By the way, Ben O'Connor, a little cheeky outside bet for a GC. 6 pointers, I'm saying that you absolutely have to have Jorgensen. I'm saying that Catania is more than likely a good pick, but don't quote me on that. You could also go with maybe Morkuv, and Paulus is an absolute must-have as well. And we've got about 30 seconds left, so I'm not really sure what to say. Shackman versus Roglic, I'm still not sure about the two of them. I'd probably go Roglic. I want to get Shackman on my team, but quite frankly, I just think he's a bit too expensive, or I'll probably eat my words because he's such a good puncher and he can also do a good time trial. So he'll probably get lots of points, but I'm just favouring Roglic, and I don't want to put both of them on the team, otherwise the rest of the team will be crap because you won't have any points left. That is it. Rounded up. Velogames, Paris. Check out for the Strade Bianchi one coming up. Thank you. Keep your masks on, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.